I was really fearful to share the birth story.
I always envisioned my life as a father.
As the person who carried the baby, that is really emotional for me.
When you have a baby at home, it will completely dismantle your life.
So you feel almost disappointed by what parenting actually is like?
A little bit shocked. When you have sex for the first time, like trying to have a kid, it is a hilarious moment.
But then every month I got my period, I was really sad. And that's when I knew I was really ready for this baby. And how do women have multiple pregnancies? This pain was excruciating. I recommend removing your ovaries. I have half an hour to make this decision. That's the most hurt I think I've ever been by you.
I'm sorry.
I fell asleep bawling my eyes out, by the way.
Whoa, like I'm going solo to meet my daughter?
Yeah, well, thank you for your service to
you're welcome.
the parenting we're doing.
It's all 50-50.
Yeah, it is all 50-50.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Reroot. Today's episode, we're diving into the birth of our baby girl, Frankie. It was definitely a emotional, complicated few weeks, and there's a lot to unpack there, so let's get into it.
Grab a tea and join us.
Grab a cup of tea and sit on the couch or drive to work or whatever you're doing.
Eamon and I are on a coffee-free streak at the moment, so we're having the Earl Grey by habit to get us through. So
how have
cheers,
you found
baby.
it?
Caffeine-free. God, I keep
Cheers.
saying caffeine-free. We might need this. Hold on.
Let's just chug this real quick. That is delicious tea.
That is really good. I'm going to just hold mine. I'm going to need
Yeah.
it. It's going fine. It's all good. And I'm excited to have this episode with you after recording the other day. I was just so excited to get back in here. I feel like it's such a beautiful space for us to have these conversations. And I already can feel that it's going to be therapeutic to go through Frankie's birth together and to share it with so many people who I can only imagine are on their own journeys with IVF, which we've been through, conceiving through health conditions, which we've been through, and a birth, I was going to say a birth vlog, but a birth that doesn't go according to plan. I feel like everyone can relate to that.
Yeah.
And then what it's been like after that. So
I'm working on my eye contact.
Oh, you're doing much better.
Bec made a point of saying I never look her in the eyes when I talk, which I typically don't. Like, it's almost like I need to think, and I find it distracting with how beautiful you are.
Oh,
and so I need to, like, really work on that, I guess.
The other night we had a chance to go for dinner, just you and me. And the entire time you chose to sit on the patio, which is great.
Sorry, my phone's ringing. I shouldn't have had my phone on.
Oh.
Hey, Phrase, we're in the middle of recording an episode.
Oh, shit, sorry.
That's all right. You have a quick question?
Yeah, quick question. How do you get this thing off?
He actually sounded like he was like sad or something.
Like a legit question.
Yeah, like a legit question.
Yeah, you're doing it right, man. That should twist off. Maybe switch positions with the old timer. The old timer doesn't have much strength. All right, peace. Sorry, guys. We'll get back to the episode. For anyone curious, he was trying to get the bit
Nobody's
off the
curious.
drill. The hole saw. Those are tricky sometimes.
Eamon likes to blame ADHD or ADD, whatever one it is that you identify with, as the reason why you can't look people in the eyes. You're doing way better.
Thank you.
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
We had a dinner, and it was like my birthday dinner, our first date night in 7 months of parenting together, and we're on the patio, and you just cannot look me in the eyes. You're
It's
just
so stimulating.
I know,
you
but
got cute dogs walking by. You got someone having a fight on the street. You got freaking motorcycles. Like, I just can't not.
and you have your life partner sitting right in front of you. You just gotta hone in.
I mean,
Anyways, you're
having
doing a lot
ADD,
better.
I think, is an easy out always.
Yes.
There's something to unpack there. I think it's a different episode. But
Yeah.
when you get a diagnosis, I feel like it's such an easy box to be put in always. And like, I got that diagnosis when I was a little kid. So my whole life, it's been like, oh no, I can't do that. I have ADD. Anyway, that's not this episode.
That
but
is not
let
this
us know if you want to
episode.
dive into that.
But we'll circle back to that for sure. I want to go back to the beginning. Before we even thought about bringing Frankie into this world, you and I had a lot of really conscious conversations about babies. When we met, we were 21, but we kind of had that conversation. Yeah, we want to have kids. And then when it got closer to the time of actually having kids, we made sure we paused and we're like, what does that mean? Are we just having kids because we're 30 and that's what you do when you're 30? And
I'm not sure I did that. You might have done that.
I feel like we did it together. Like, we at least had those conversations where I was saying, like, do you actually want children? Like, can we envision a life without
I think what happened is I always envisioned my life as a father and having kids. I'm one of 4, so I just knew that that was what I wanted. I like chaos. I want the kids running around. And I think until we met Karen and Nate, they were the ones that were like the first people we really met, and Craig and Amy.
Yeah, that's true.
They were like, yeah, we don't want kids. And like so confident with it. And I was like, whoa, I've never met someone who's like so confidently putting that out there.
Yeah, true.
And so I never even thought that was an option. And then so meeting them and seeing, you know, for those reasons and freedom and they're loving their life and all these things. And I never actually questioned it, but I feel like with most things in my life, I never really actually unpacked what it would be like to have kids and like put it in a spreadsheet or a list in my head even of like all the negatives that come with. Well, you're laughing, but there's a ton of negatives, baby. You know, negative might not be the wrong word, but
we were going to get into this later in the episode, but I've been really sitting with that because Eamon is the first person to tell people. The other night, I literally heard you say, it fucks up your life to someone. As the person who carried the baby and sacrificed my body and let the estrogen rise in my body, like there's a lot around the pregnancy that is really emotional for me. And when you say that, it's not your fault, but I didn't know why my reaction was so strong every time you said it. Like I would get so hurt, like personally hurt that that's how you feel about parenting. And now I've come to realize that it's always my own issue, but I have so much to unpack around the pregnancy. And I felt like such a victim during it because I'd just been through treatment. And then I felt like my body was giving up on me and it was, you know, with all the pain and everything. So when I hear you say that, like it's just so many negatives and you don't lead with, I'm so grateful for Bec and everything she did. I'm not asking you to,
I mean, it was a cocktail conversation,
no,
right?
I know,
and it was with like a 21-year-old. And so I just really want to encourage people that, you know, I don't want to always leave, oh, they're such a blessing. Oh, they're going to make your life so much better. And they do. But I think generally when you have a baby at home, it will completely dismantle your life. And especially if you don't have a loving partner, I couldn't imagine the amount of stress, financially, emotionally, just the amount of fatigue. And then you would turn into not the best version of yourself and maybe not give that kid a great life. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's such a complicated topic to like have a little quick cocktail conversation with someone like, hey, how's parenting? Generally, I would say the last 6 months have been very challenging. So is it a blessing? Do I love her more than anything? Would I change it? Wait, I'm kind of confusing myself. But no, the answer is I love everything about her. Yeah. But it is way harder than I thought. And I don't think people told me that. So I kind of just want to be that honest person in someone's life who's like thinking about having kids. It's like, whoa, I underestimated this.
Yeah. And we were talking about this, the fact that everything we've jumped into, we do it with a sense of naivete. Is that a word? Naivete?
I don't know.
We're really naive about it. So when we started our companies, we're just jumping in knowing this is going to be great when really there's so many reasons not to do any small business venture. It's just so much work. And who are we to think that we can do it? But we just go and do it. So we jumped into parenthood in the same naive sense that we always do, which I think bodes well for us because otherwise we wouldn't be where we are.
Yeah. Having a kid for me wasn't even a bigger idea than seeing a cute family at a cafe. Just like the 5 seconds of like, oh my God, they're the cutest kids I've ever seen. The parents look so cute. They got the baby on the front and everything. It wasn't much more than that. It was just like, that's what I want and that's what I'm going to get.
Wow.
And we'll figure everything else out.
So you feel almost disappointed by what parenting actually is like?
Not disappointed, just a little bit shocked.
Right. Yeah. And I will say to your credit, a lot of dads aren't the dad that you are. You are a very present dad. You do 50% of the work. We are a partnership like we are in everything we do. And a lot of dads go to their job still. And honestly, it's such a privilege that you can be that present.
Well, I think that was a piece of, in the last episode, we were talking about how I wanted to get a construction job. There was a little element of that where, you know, I was talking to my cousin Stu, and he just like dips for like 9 to 5.
Right.
You know, and then he gets to come home and feed Dane, and it's like a cute little bedtime thing. And then that's it. He wakes up again. And I know there's pros and cons to both. Like, obviously.
You don't actually want that.
No.
But you need some space.
Once in a while.
Once in a while. I thought we had consciously decided to have children, but anyways,
No, we did.
We did.
For sure we did.
We did.
Yeah.
And
we were trying to have kids.
Yes. So I really believe now more than ever that we're getting signs all the time and we're always being guided to the best version of ourselves. And when we hear the things we need to hear when we need to hear them. And I was at a wedding and we were just waiting. think I'd done a biopsy that showed nothing at the time, but they were still going to do the surgery to remove the lump in my right breast. And I was in the washroom at this wedding, and somehow I literally run into a woman who was going through uterine cancer. Like, I don't even know how that happened. She's not in the circle of friends that I was there for the wedding for. And she was telling me they had the opportunity to do IVF, to freeze her eggs and embryos with her partner before she went through treatment. And because I had that conversation in the washroom, when I was first diagnosed with cancer, I knew to say straight away, I want to freeze my eggs. And I don't think that the oncologist would have offered that to me because they were so eager to start treatment.
Wow.
But knowing that and knowing I could advocate for myself and that was something they offered women before they go through treatment was sort of the first step in our IVF experience. So I just wanted to say thanks, universe. That was really cool. And also to that woman, I have no idea, I can't remember your name, but thank you for sharing your experience.
You're very happy and maybe have a kid.
Maybe she's used her frozen embryos. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the IVF journey because it was in the middle of a stage 3 breast cancer diagnosis. There's a lot going on. And again, it's hard to piece out what I was feeling because I was on all these hormones, what I was feeling because of the upcoming treatment. But I want to rewind and go back to IVF and maybe start with how it felt for you. And
I guess ultimately, when you've got this vision of what it's like to have kids and to build a family, and all that just crumbles, right? The options are just not there anymore. I don't think anyone can prepare for that. It's such a tough pill to swallow when you've got to make these decisions so quickly. So you don't even have time to really digest the information. It was kind of you want kids? Cool. You got to start this. Now, as a male, extremely grateful that it's quite a bit easier. I literally
quite a bit easier?
had to get walked into a comfortable little chair, full on lazy boy. They had a 27-inch TV, all the porn you want. You can choose anything you want, and you just got to rub it out into a cup. That's it. And you had to do injections for a month?
Yeah. I want to start by saying that I'm so grateful that we were in a position where we both felt like our fertility wasn't the issue. The reason we were doing fertility was to preserve it so that we could have kids in the future. But there would be a whole other element, I think, if I had done all of that work, I had injected myself with all those hormones, and then it wasn't successful. So I just am so blessed that it worked. And going into it, I just knew it was going to work. I just knew that, that would be really hard to go into it, just having tried having kids for years.
I remember you told me there was a friend of a friend that said that they were trying to have kids, and she was going through the IVF and doing all the needles and everything.
Yeah.
And then the guy wouldn't even take it serious, and he was going in hot tubs, which you're not supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And that would be,
I would have just,
it sounds like that relationship.
I would have walked away from you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're not my partner.
Yeah.
But yes. So I started doing the injections and I produced 8 eggs.
Which is huge.
Huge. It was amazing. The whole process wasn't so bad. I remember my sister was up at the cabin with you and me, and we would cook dinner every night and I would do my injections. And before this, I was the most holistic, anti-Tylenol, anti-Advil, never drew my blood. No way I'm going to do a needle. And I had to just get it done every day, needles and needles.
Yeah, and just a side note there, the nurse kind of gave me a very quick crash course. Didn't even let me do one in front of her. She's like, so you take this, you take the cap off, you stab it, and then you press it in, and then you pull it out. I never really fully understood that whole process. I just I wanted you to be comfortable, but I wasn't sure if you're supposed to press it, then stab, then take your finger off and pull
No
out.
wonder I was in so much pain.
Obviously it worked.
It worked.
But it's kind of crazy that they just let you go home with that.
And so many women do that alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's just take a moment for the women who are doing that by themselves.
We can cut to some clips on that because we have a whole vlog if people are interested in watching that, but we can do some overlays too. There were some funny, maybe not fun.
Fun for you, maybe.
Moments.
Hard for me.
Yeah.
And the egg retrieval, I will say, going through everything I've been through was one of the most painful moments because you're not fully out. And for whatever reason, it's very, very painful. I mean, they're up there extracting stuff out of you.
What do they got down there? Like,
honestly, I don't know because you're out of it. Like, you're like kind of out of it. But I'm like the most silent. Like, you could massage me until it's so painful. And I would just be like breathing through it. And I heard myself. It was like an out of body experience during the egg retrieval, screaming. And them saying like, it's okay, it's almost over. And I'm just, like screaming on the table. So it was very painful.
After I did my deed, coming into the car, you're waiting
We're
for me in the car.
circling back to you.
And I just getting in the car, you're like, baby, how was it? I was like, it's great.
Yeah. Men. Anyways,
man.
then we made 5 embryos. And they are still to this day beautifully tucked away in a freezer, just waiting for us.
Yeah, I mean, Frankie wasn't an embryo, which was freaking amazing that she was able to like she was a little gift.
Yes.
And I think she's going to hold that over her siblings forever.
Well, we've already started joking that the next child will be an embryo baby, and she'll technically be older than Frankie. So, you know, navigating that's going to be really interesting.
Like, Frank's going to be like, screw you, Marlo. You were frozen in time. You go back to the freezer.
Yeah, I used to say my sister was adopted, but that was all made up. You know, we'll have to be careful.
It'll
how
be a
we help
complicated thing there.
The children navigate all of that.
No wonder you can't hit that baseball. You were frozen for 3 years.
Amen.
Little bully. I can see Frank doing that.
I also just want to pause and say, you're always projecting that Frankie's going to be this really aggressive,
We'll see.
kind of you personality. But have you seen lately? She loves reading books. She's so smiley. She's so much more me than you.
We'll see.
And for the better.
I don't know. Get her on that jolly jumper. She's just like.
So fast forward, I went through chemotherapy and radiation. And my
So we had 5. You said 8 eggs, and we had
8
5
eggs, and then they were able to make 5 embryos that were, I guess, strong enough to go through the freezing process and have a good chance of thawing and then becoming pregnancies.
So we're still paying like a subscription fee for them to be stored in a freezer.
Yes.
And
with love.
Kind
I
of
pay
a
it with
cool.
love.
Yeah, of course. There's so much love in that freezer. That whole thing blows my mind that we have that ability, first of all.
Totally.
And like, are they already themselves?
This is what we were talking about the other night.
Right? Do they have like a soul?
That's what I'm so curious about. Because in that case, we're having 5 more children.
You got to. You can't leave 2 in the fridge, dude. And then also,
when do we get our souls? That is, wow. I can't wait to like bring the spiritual guru expert in and them tell me when the soul.
yeah, because Terrence Howard remembers being 6 months old in the womb.
The womb.
That dude is a trip. We got to get him on the pod.
Yes.
Terrence, if you're listening, feel free to join us. We'll grab another chair. We'll sit down. We'll do it. Also, kind of an interesting thing is in Canada, it's illegal, but technically in the States, we could have the embryos move to the States, and then we could get them to look if it's a male or a female and choose the sex of our next baby.
If you had to choose right now, what would you choose?
I think I'd go another girl.
Me too.
So she'd have like a homie, and
best
then
friend.
eventually I'd love a little boy.
Well, if we're going to have one boy, we have to have another boy after.
Ooh.
Everyone has
Well,
to
we got
have.
6, so we'll go 3 of each.
Okay. I feel so lucky because I am the middle child. I have an older brother and a younger sister, so I have like the best friend in my sister, but then I love having a brother. And my brother would always say he wanted a brother, but now he always says he has the brother with you, which is really cool. I mean, that's what's so cool about life. It's just because you weren't born into that family. Like friendships are that for people, but siblings are extra unique and special.
Sure.
So 5 embryos. Fast forward, chemotherapy, radiation, and my oncologist told me you'll likely never naturally have children, but if your cycle comes back, you're all clear. There's no evidence of disease. It's time to start living your life. Go out there and start having a baby.
Which we never really questioned because your cancer was estrogen driven.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the women's body goes through so many peaks of hormones, estrogen being a major one, when you're pregnant, right? So we don't know if that has to do with why the cancer flared up again? It probably did.
I think so.
Yeah.
Innately, I believe it had something to do with it. I had a lot.
And
I
you
had
didn't get
change.
to the root
Yeah.
cause of why your body made cancer.
Exactly. My oncologist, do you remember him even saying this might prevent women who have
Oh, yeah.
been through pregnancy and breastfed their babies are at a decreased risk of breast cancer?
There's a little extra protection.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. Like the breasts are only here literally to nurture and feed children. Like it's just fat that's there to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like this, the soul aspect of it is this unmet thing, right? You didn't get that experience to. Anyway, so I went into it thinking like there was absolutely no chance cancer was ever coming back to my body. Like I kicked cancer's butt. I was the warrior I wanted to be. And we started trying to conceive, which, let's just pause for a second. When you're 33 years old and you've been trying your whole life not to get pregnant.
And you've been told, don't even sneeze on a girl, you'll be pregnant.
It is the most bizarre thing to try to conceive a child.
I had no idea that you can only get pregnant like within a, 2-3 day window?
Yeah.
In a month?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and so we said we're going to casually start trying to have a baby. I'll never forget you like driving home from that oncologist meeting being like, yeah, woo,
Let's go.
like today's the day. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm ovulating. Like I think you're supposed to track that. And I was kind of terrified to start because we'd been putting it off for so long, but it was almost a gift that he said, start now.
Remember how hard we started laughing?
Yeah.
When you have sex for the first time, like trying to have a kid, and you ejaculate
Okay.
into your partner, it is a hilarious moment. Nick's smiling off camera. It's a weird moment, right?
100%.
Yeah, you've been told not to do this your whole time, and then
Yeah.
you start looking at each other, and we were just dying.
Yeah.
Like, did I do it right? I got to leave it in longer.
I was like,
and then
doing the happy baby.
they tell you to like go upside down and
Yeah.
like let it soak in there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a ride.
What a ride. I was just basically saying it was a gift that he told us to try now because I don't think I would have started trying, honestly.
What if he didn't say that?
Yeah, because I felt like my body was still just coming through treatment and I didn't really feel ready. And I think that's subconsciously something I carried during the pregnancy was this not victim mentality, maybe victim mentality, if that's what was going to come out of my mouth, of look at what my body just went through. And now, again, I'm here and feeling all these like changes and just not feeling like myself. But that's why it's such a blessing because Frankie was meant to be here. She is such a gift in our lives. She's a miracle. She's such a miracle. So we started trying and we were going to be casual and I didn't want to be stressed. But then every month I got my period, I was really sad. And that's when I knew I was really ready for this baby. And
That's such a complicated thing. Like, you know, to all the people listening there that are trying and are, you know, really want to have a kid and, you know, you keep getting your period. I feel for them. I really do. Because that's like, it adds another layer of stress and pressure every time you go to have sex again. And I think it's kind of like when you're looking for a partner, you know, that classic advice is you'll find it when you're not looking. And it's so true. But like, if you're really stressed about having kids, it's almost not going to happen, right? You got to just have love and passion.
of course it's not. I believe so much in the body carrying stress. And when we conceived Frankie, we were not in stress. We didn't even know we were trying to conceive that month. So the little secret is we were going for the Amazing Race and we were really low or like really far in the process and we're almost chosen to be on it. And that was such a bucket list dream of mine and still is. I would love to be on the Amazing Race one day.
I don't know. Maybe the American one.
Yeah, the American one, for
Yeah,
sure.
Canada's seems a little lame.
Yeah.
Today we're going to Sault Ste. Marie to look at beaver pelts.
Well, now we're never going to be on it because they know how you feel.
That's all right.
So we had stopped trying because obviously you can't run the race when you're pregnant. And that's when we conceived Frankie.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
I was so shocked taking that test. Like, I was late, but I was out for lunch with Giselle and Amanda, my girlfriends. And I was saying, yeah, I'm late. Like, and they were like, are you pregnant? And I'm like, no, there's no way. Like, I just thought there was no way.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Wow.
Walk me through taking the pregnancy test. You were buzzing.
I was so fired up, dude. I was so fired up. We were out for dinner with Adam and Sarah. and we stop at the pharmacist on the way home and we grab a couple tests.
It actually happened because we were waiting for them to drop off my purse at the Shoppers
You were
Drug
like 2
Mart.
days late, right?
Yeah, and I was like, well, we're at Shoppers Drug Mart. We might as well get a test. I'm late.
And so you pee on it and we're waiting.
First pregnancy test I've ever taken in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes, there's a little plus. And it's very faint. And I just started losing it. I was like, this is it. And you're just like, no, Eamon, that's not the right logo, or that's not it. I was like, dude, it's 100% it. And my heart was just beating, just full of excitement. At this time, I had no idea what it was meant for the next 6 months, but so fired up. And you were just completely in shock. Like,
I was also in shock because at that time we were waiting for a biopsy to come back because they were afraid of the recurrence. They had seen something in my mammogram, my just 6-month checkup. And so we were waiting for the biopsy results. So it was, again, a stressful time. And now I know carrying stress is not good for you. And I probably stored that stress. I know I did because I didn't want to film. I didn't want to do anything. I was just like lying in bed all the time. I went to the worst case scenario. I couldn't even envision a future where the possibility is you're healthy and happy and this baby is healthy and happy. It's just a dark time. So it was really hard for me, again, to go through that. But it was exciting. And going through IVF, you lose that sort of, you'll still take the test and be like, oh, are we pregnant? And you'll be really excited. But to have it happen so naturally for us and to have had that experience.
such a gift.
Is such a gift. I'm
Well,
so
because
happy.
we thought that was taken away. Like,
Yes.
we didn't, he said there's no guarantee, right?
Yes.
So we're thinking, oh, at some point we'll give up and we even had that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You said, you know what, if it's not this month, then we'll get back from Amazing Race and we'll.
Maybe talk about putting an embryo
Yeah.
because we knew we wanted to have the baby.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. Frankie Lee.
Frankie
Lee
Lee.
was definitely beating some drums up there.
Oh, for sure.
Didn't you say in a meditation, she said she picked the soul for her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen Lee in my meditations basically holding Frankie's hand until the moment she came earthside. And I just know that that's true.
100%.
She is worthy of the middle name Lee. Frankie is so courageous and strong and funny. Oh my gosh, I don't know how, but she's really funny at 7 months old. And Lee is so funny. So it's just perfect. I feel like the pregnancy was much more of a me journey. I don't even know that I just thought of this memory that I absolutely hate.
Let's hear it.
It's a bad one for you.
That's all right. Spread it on.
So I was pregnant last summer and Eamon was in this you were like loving partying last summer.
Mm.
It was as if you knew get it out of my system or something. And I just look over and you're like smoking a joint and you're just like so gone and everyone's there partying. And I kind of say something like, oh, must be nice or something like that. And you go, why don't you just join me? I said, Eamon, I'm pregnant. What would you do if you were pregnant?
A little weed, I think, would be fine.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
And you're like, get over it. I would just keep smoking. And I literally felt in that moment like you completely undervalued what I was doing for our family. Completely didn't see. I hate using the word sacrifice because, of course, I feel so blessed.
Of course. It makes
but
sense.
that I was like sacrificing my body for us, that I was sober and should be sober for our child. And you just looked at me like, yeah, I would just keep doing this if it was me that was pregnant. And that's the most hurt I think I've ever been by you. I was really, really
I'm sorry.
upsetting. I know we've already talked about this.
Okay. Yeah. But I just want to say it again. It was wrong.
Yeah.
I think the difference is, I think if you did smoke that weed and you were just like, you know what, whatever, one joint, and you didn't internalize it, it would be fine. Mm. If you smoked it and you carried the guilt, oh my God, what if this happens? What if this happens? Then it's not good. Right. So I don't know what the science is about smoking a little pot when you're pregnant.
I think it's
probably discouraged.
Overwhelmingly discouraged.
Yeah, probably because they had like 1 or 2 cases of like
my
a
whole
crazy
body
stoner
is
that smoked pot the whole time. You know what I mean? It's like,
I hear what you're saying. Like some women,
like, what do you think they did in the
have a sip of
70s? I'm
wine.
sorry, but all our parents were born in the 70s. Like, guaranteed,
Okay.
there were some stoners.
Fair enough. I think we should move on from this because I'm still upset. I accept
But I
your
respect
apology.
it. I understand
accept
that
your
it was
apology.
wrong for me to put that on you as like, yo, you just relax. Like,
Yeah.
You know?
And I do feel like we kind of carry that now in our parenting a little bit. You said to me the other day, well, it's because you parent at 110%, and I'm just not willing to give it that much.
It's the same with everything, baby.
Yeah.
Thumbnails. Well, why don't you want to take 200? Well, we just took 50. That's it for me. I'm happy with 50, and you would take 200. Right?
Old me.
Yeah.
I was actually just looking at the last YouTube video, and my old self came up being like, well, we should change the thumbnail.
The thumbnail is kind of shit on the last
The
one.
thumbnail's really bad.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not doing well.
Whatever, though, man.
Yeah, I know.
I'm actually of the mindset, like, let's just throw up black screens once in a while, or like a random text, or,
Yeah.
you know, like Emma Chamberlain doesn't give a fuck about her
No,
thumbnails.
but she does.
Maybe she has a little bit of
I
thought in
can't
there.
wait to have her here because I guarantee you she does. And she knows what she's doing.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I am a big believer, if you're proud of your content, you make good content, of course the thumbnail might get a few more people to watch, but I think we're at the point where we're just like happy making our vlogs.
Yeah.
I really don't care if it has 600,000 views or 500,000 views. I don't think the thumbnail is driving people anymore. I think we have a base. Our videos never pop.
Yeah.
Like we have a very clear base of people that want to watch.
Thank you,
And
base. I love you guys so much.
yeah, we love,
honestly.
exactly.
Yeah.
And like we do it for them, you know?
Agree. I totally agree. I don't know how we got here from parenting. Was there anything else about the pregnancy that stands out or that you remember?
I mean, overall, you looked so cute. I just remember it being really special moments, like, you know, feeling her kick and all the classics.
I honestly loved being pregnant. I would love to be pregnant again.
I think you will.
Thank you. It's just that I started experiencing a ton of back pain.
Last trimester.
Yeah, around the last trimester, I thought I got really sick. Remember, I got sick after Lee's golf tournament. Max was there, and I was coughing a ton. I think I must have had COVID or something, and I thought I'd thrown out my rib, and I was in so much pain that I couldn't sleep. I couldn't move around.
We tried everything. Massage therapists, osteopaths, like the works. We tried to research the shit out of it.
Yeah.
We thought it was their intercostal muscle at one point.
Yeah. I was getting massages done, asking them to just spend the whole time on the intercostal muscle because I was convinced that's what had happened. When in actuality, it was that the cancer had returned and it was now in my bones. So when I received the diagnosis, it actually validated in a way the pain I was going through because it was so excruciating and I didn't understand. Everyone was dismissing me, saying it was the pregnancy and it was you were just carrying a lot more weight.
Because typically, you do get little back pain.
Yeah, and a lot of women have back pain and rib pain is really normal. And my OB, I must have told like 3 or 4 times, and he was kind of like, oh yeah, that's super normal, and he felt around in there and he's like, I don't feel anything, like it's just normal pain. And I remember thinking, then how do women have multiple pregnancies? Because this pain, and I'm a tough person, was excruciating.
Do you kind of think the medical industry, like all the resources and care and love they gave you, isn't it kind of surprising? We knew it was estrogen driven. Like if you put your chart and blow it up as a, vision, like wouldn't you think there was a little more tracking? It's like, okay, this young woman had estrogen driven cancer. Now she's trying to be pregnant. Let's make sure it's not spreading once your estrogen flies through the roof. You're not on any drugs. You're not on any preventative stuff.
Yeah. I think everyone operated as though I had beat it and it would never come back that quickly. And I think what that shows is that actually we didn't beat it and that my body didn't actually really respond to chemotherapy, which is heartbreaking because that was really challenging as well. So I love in a way that everyone met me with that, oh, it's never coming back kind of energy because I wouldn't want the extra stress of the blood work and the fear. I wouldn't have even probably met them with letting them do that. I didn't want that fear. So.
Fair. It's just crazy to think about the amount of money that the healthcare industry spent on a patient and then all of a sudden let her fly.
Yeah.
But is what it is.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget when you went to one of the massage therapists and you came back and I was working on the boathouse and you like could barely walk. That was kind of the point of, whoa, we need to get something looked at.
Yeah. And anyways, I was just trying to brush past it because I don't like reliving it, I just caught myself trying to move on. The truth is it was a really, really hard time. And
Did you subconsciously have any thoughts that it was cancer?
No.
Not even a little bit.
Zero. Remember when I went to the emerge? Because then the pain started coming up on my left side and I was like paralyzed. I couldn't lift my arm up. I couldn't open the toothpaste. I couldn't brush my teeth.
Yeah.
It was so much worse than I definitely shared on YouTube, and a lot worse than I was letting anyone know.
Yeah, I personally, I'm sorry if I didn't give you enough
No, it's okay.
attention then, because I had no idea how bad it was.
Yeah. I remember you like helping me. Remember when we were trying to watch TV and you'd be like, babe, let me like to put the pillows, and like literally I couldn't sit.
Yeah.
I had to have like 100 pillows around me, and I'm just so proud of me. Because when I think back to that time, it was just so hard. And I was still in all of that pain after I gave birth. And then the fact that I showed up every day for me and for Frankie, and where I am now, and I'm doing cartwheels every day, and I'm not on any pain meds. That, like, I did all that by just knowing I could do it and just changing my mind. I'm just so proud.
I'm so proud of you too.
Yeah. That's exactly why I tried to skip over that moment, because it's now, at least when I look back, the emotion is pride. I don't feel sad for that woman. I'm just really proud of the woman I am sitting here right now.
Me too.
Do you want to
Let's get some Kleenex. They were beside me, and I said, I'm not going to need these today. It's probably going to get really emotional from here on out. Thanks, Nick. I'm just going to leave them right here.
Again, sponsored by Kleenex.
Yeah.
These aren't even Kleenex, bro. These are Scotties.
Oh, Scotty's.
We
I
gotta
actually
hide
loved
the
the name
brand.
Scotty for a girl, too.
Yeah, it's cute.
Such a cute
Shout
name.
out to the OC. That's what I think of.
Is there a girl named
I
Scotty
don't know
in
if
the
there is a
OC?
girl called
Scotty, yeah, it's E's girlfriend.
That's Entourage.
And that's
Oh,
Sloan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Sloan, yeah.
Sloan.
But there's a Scotty there.
Scotty. Oh, she's on
She's
Suits.
really hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So hot.
Super hot.
So cute.
Yeah,
I forgot that there was a Scotty.
There we go. We got there.
How's my mascara?
Awesome.
No, seriously.
Look like a raccoon.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Nick?
No,
Do I
that's
have
great.
makeup all over
No,
my
no, no,
face?
I can't see.
Two boys on set here telling me I look fine.
Where's Sabrina?
Yeah, where is Sabrina? I'm throwing those over there.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm probably going to be emotional for a little bit because it leads us to the stage 4 diagnosis and to them telling me that we should deliver this baby as soon as possible because in your third trimester.
So, sorry, let's just paint. You're in pain. You can barely
So
sit.
much pain,
Then what
yeah.
happens? And what week are you at?
I'm
Remember?
about 30. I was 33 weeks pregnant when I received the diagnosis. So 33 or 32 weeks pregnant. Well, then a tumor was on my forehead, and that's when everyone started taking me seriously.
Yeah, so it popped up,
Mm-hmm.
and coincidentally, your mom had something pop up on her head.
She's always
Months
kind of
earlier.
had that. No, years. My mom's had that for years.
Oh, but it like flared up a few months ago.
Yeah.
Right? And we're thinking, what's going on with these ladies?
Yeah, we both had these bumps on our forehead. And my mom's had hers checked for years, and they're always like, it's nothing. If you want to remove it, we have to like literally open up your head. And she's like, I'm not going to do that. Like, that sounds like a very invasive surgery for this bump. I'll just have bangs for the rest of my life. So we kind of were joking, like I'd gotten this bump that my mom had. And yeah, I told my OB about it again. And he looked me in the eyes and said, it is my duty to tell you if I feel as though this could at all be related to your cancer, I just do not worry. This is not related to that. So I was like, okay. So I was just waiting for the ultrasound to come back.
So we did go get it checked out.
Yes. But to show you how unworthy I felt at the time, that ultrasound was taking weeks and weeks and weeks. So this must have been earlier than 33 weeks. And I remember Sarah, my sister-in-law, saying like, why don't you call them and get this moved up? Like, this is like important. I said, there are more important people out there who need this more than me. Like, this is just nothing. But really, deep down, I was just saying, like, I wasn't as important as all the other people in line, but of course I am. So then
Classic Bec. That's like a theme through your whole life.
Yeah. Giving to my detriment. Until now.
Now she buds people in line.
Not quite, but.
Step aside. I'm here first, Costco.
No, I would never do that. But yeah, definitely I was give, and don't keep anything for yourself, and make sure everyone else is taken care of, and then you can take care of yourself. And of course, there's nothing left to take care of yourself with. So when I was at the ultrasound, I knew something was wrong just because of the way she was navigating the bump, how long it took, the questions she was asking me, like, why aren't you on tamoxifen, which is this estrogen suppressing thing? So I was like, okay, this all sounds weird. But even still, it was confusing to me because, to be honest, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I never went down the road of like, how do you die from breast cancer? And what do they mean stage 3 versus stage 4? I was just like, this is what I got to do. I'm just going to go and do it. I kind of thought they'd had the wrong patient. Like, I was like, are you sure this is like I'd had no symptoms. I'm like, are you sure this is me? So for it to appear on my forehead didn't make any sense. There was no way that was breast cancer. It was like something else was happening in my body. I now understand what metastatic means. It means that the cells have moved into different parts of your body.
Plus, side note, part of your breast cancer, the way they treat and the way they search for cancer is heavily to do with your lymph nodes.
Yes.
Right? Because if the cancer spreads to your lymph nodes,
yes,
then it
might be
becomes
spreading.
metastatic.
Yeah.
So your lymph nodes were always clear,
Always
which we were
clear.
always super grateful.
Totally. So that lump we call Daffodil. She is a yellow flower because yellow is our color of healing and love. And I'm so unbelievably grateful. And I like sit with my body and say, wow, I'm sorry that it had to get that extreme. But of course it did, because nobody was listening to me. I wasn't listening to me when it was all in my bones and I couldn't move.
It needed to appear on your head.
On my forehead. Like, hello.
Hey, check me out.
Hello. So we love Daffodil. And she brought me to that room where we received the diagnosis. And they said it's important that you deliver the baby ASAP because the estrogen just keeps rising and things are spreading quickly. They had done a scan and then another one to like double check, and things were progressing like quickly.
I just have to say, one of like my favorite memories is actually that moment of seeing you, the way you've just been told your cancer is now in your head and you need to get delivered your baby, and just how professional is the only word I can think of it. Like, you were just so, like, you could have crumbled, right? You could have absolutely been a pool of puddles, and you were at some points, of course.
Yeah.
But you were so focused and like, yes, okay, this is the option. Like, I was a mess, and you just took it on and digested the information. At least in that meeting, it was just such a, holy shit, that's my wife, and that's going to be the mother of my children. I'm so proud.
Aww.
It's very inspiring.
I'm so glad that's how you see it, because it was probably more shock than professionalism.
Well, it just goes to show, like, life is constantly going to be ups and downs, and no one's going to have a dream life. And no matter how much money or security or safety you feel, life is going to throw shit at you.
Yeah.
And it's about how you deal with it.
That's the whole point of life, is to just teach us all these lessons. And my body was waking me up and shaking me and saying, girl, you have got to start loving yourself. And it was as if in that moment I knew that this was this beautiful wake-up call and that it was going to be okay. And I think that's what gave me that poise. And on top of that, Frankie was first. I just, like, she needed to be delivered before I could crumble, because I had to just put her first. I guess that's what moms do, you know? I just wanted her to be okay. And I think we talked about it the last episode, but I carry, or have been working through the guilt I carry that she came early because of me. She was a very happy, healthy baby in my womb and would have gone full term, I think she would have been a very heavy baby to push out. Very heavy. Like I'm talking 9 pounds. Because she was just happy and healthy and all the things. But she was ready to come, as we know.
I also internalized a lot of fear around premature because my triplet siblings were all premature and they had complicated health issues, especially my sister. So I carried a lot of fear around that. Like they were 27. My dad says 27. My mom says 26. I don't know why we don't know exactly how
26.
premature they were. But that was very premature for back in the day. So, yeah, I carried a lot of fear around her being okay.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
You didn't behave like that at all.
Well, that's the last thing I wanted to put on you, you know? But of course, it's scary. But look at her now.
I know.
She is
The
chunky.
opposite of a premature baby. She's
Very
so good.
happy, loves food, smashes food.
Yeah. I think more than her weight is just how happy she is. She's a very happy baby.
Yeah,
and
she's
that
not
makes me
teething.
so happy.
She's literally smiling.
Yeah, and she's just so curious, and you can tell she's absorbing. And now we're going to go on a Frankie tangent. But anyways, the birth was wild because up until the moment I gave birth, the plan changed every half an hour.
Maybe even more.
Yeah.
So just to back it up a little bit, we got the diagnosis. We made the drastic decision to move to Toronto. The triplex we're living in was being constructed, and we decided to transfer all of our care from Kingston to Toronto. So we packed everything up. We moved to Toronto. Our friends surprised us. The triplex wasn't supposed to be done for a few weeks, and our entire community rallied. We were supposed to do a collab video with our friend Alexandra Gator, and she's an interior designer, does amazing work. She had donated all this amazing furniture. The place was fully furnished, painted, like I'm talking stocked with cutlery, like to the nine. So that was super special. It was like such a big moment in this journey of happiness and community.
1,000%. It solidified why we were moving to Toronto, because we need community, and we all need community as human beings, but especially when you're going through such a deep,
I thought we were
journey.
going into like a construction site. We would have to like dust off the sheets. And so to go in and everything's like not just furnished, like styled. It looked amazing.
Yeah, it was so wonderful. And just another note on like old self versus me now. I was so emotional then, but I felt almost like unworthy of all that love. Like the fact that everyone took that Friday off of work for us and showed up, and just, you could feel the love in that apartment. I just thought, like, how am I so deserving of all of this? Now, of course I understand. I would do that for all of them in a heartbeat. And it's just so special to be able to reflect back on that and know that I'm a different person. So within a few days, I was at the hospital. They called me when we were at Home Sense with Sarah grabbing a few things because the baby was going to be here. I didn't have anything. I literally didn't have anything. We were not prepared. I was supposed to have a baby shower that weekend. So we didn't have anything. And I got a call and they said, "Hi, Rebecca, come right into the hospital, like now. You're going to deliver tomorrow morning and we'll check you in now." And I was like, "No, I'm not ready now. It can't be now." So we drive over to the hospital.
We literally left Home Sense. Sarah paid for everything.
Yeah.
We just left and drove home and packed up what we had.
Yeah. And everyone there was so wonderful. But the biggest shout out is to Carrie, our doula, who put a sign on the front of our door.
Sorry, back up a little more. Carrie actually cold emailed, which is not something she's ever done before. She'd been following the channel very loosely, kind of knew who we were and knew we were kind of out in the woods somewhere. And she goes, I feel like, I need to be there for them, and just sent a cold email. And we get a lot of different emails in our inbox. A lot of times we just, don't even read them. And for some reason you opened this and said, "Oh, babe, look at this."
I read her email and...
Do you remember what her title was?
No.
Or no?
Nope. But I knew that she was for us. I knew. My whole body had a reaction to that email. Like, yes, 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 yes,
Wow.
yes. Carrie is on our team and I'm so grateful for her. Carrie is a doula and she specializes in helping babies come into this world and supporting the mom, supporting the partner, and just being there to help you advocate for yourself, because it can be really tricky when the doctors are saying, let's do this now, let's break your water, let's whatever.
I think
So
we should have her on at one point, because she would be an amazing
If
episode.
you guys would be interested in that, if you want to hear from Carrie and her experience with, I think, a couple hundred births, let us know. It'd be a really great episode. But Carrie put a sign on our door that said, please be mindful of the energy you bring into this space. And whether it was that or just everyone meeting us with that kindness and grace, everyone we dealt with was so amazing. But it was still hectic. At that point, I thought maybe I would be induced. So obviously I'm not going to be naturally giving birth at 33 weeks.
So the first OB in Kingston, we asked him about that. We're like, okay, well, you know, because of this diagnosis, like obviously we're having a C-section, right? He's like, no, not necessarily. We could try pushing.
No, an induction.
Induction, but pushing.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, how the fuck does that work?
Yeah.
Like the kid is not supposed to be here for a few weeks. You're just going to push it out? Or the
Yeah.
induction loosens things up?
Well, the induction basically simulates birth.
But it could still take like hours.
It could take days.
Yeah.
And my fear was all the pain I was in.
Right.
I could barely lift my arms over my head. I couldn't sit. And I had this vision of a very natural birth where I'm doing a lot of movement. I'm using the medicine ball. I'm moving, you know, and I just did not know how that was going to look. So I went into that hospital. They were talking about doing an induction. And then they got to the point where they realized they couldn't give me an epidural. They didn't know how many.
The first guy, what are they called?
Anesthesiologist.
Anesthesiologists. They administer drugs. Very important job because they need to get the dose right. Otherwise, they completely cook you. Well, I never respected how complicated that job is.
It's a super highly trained professional. Yeah.
So the first guy came in and he goes, oh, yeah, I think we'll be fine. So the cancer was in your spine. They didn't have any imaging low enough to fully make that decision.
And we weren't going to do imaging low enough to protect Frankie.
So the first guy goes, you know what? It is a little risky, but in my professional opinion, I think it's fine. You know, there is chances that the needle could push some cancer cells further into your bones, but that is such a small percentage. And, you know, if you were my daughter, I would say let's go for it, because that way you get to have your natural birth. I get to be there for it. Carrie gets to be there for it. It's much more aligned with the vision we had. So we were kind of stoked on that. Like that was, okay, decision made. Let's now digest this information.
Yeah. And then the shift changed and the next anesthesiologist came in, and this is like middle of the night now, and says there's no way we're administering an epidural. And because we can't offer you any pain management, we don't feel comfortable with inducing you now. So not only are you having a C-section, which in most instances, a C-section, the partner can be there, you can be awake, they can be at the top of your head, and you can meet your baby straight away, which was like my worst case scenario in my thinking before. Now I was doing a C-section that I'd have to be put under for, because again, I cannot have an epidural. So you can't be in the room, nobody can be in the room, and I have to go to sleep for it. Which is
So just that mind game of like making a decision, being okay with it, talking about how it would look and everything, and then all of a sudden everything's flipped upside down.
But wait,
was a lot.
There's another curveball before even giving birth. Then I meet my new oncologist. So I had an oncologist in Kingston. I meet the new one. He comes in and says, because you're going in for surgery and you're going under, I recommend removing your ovaries. And I have half an hour to make this decision.
So ovaries produce estrogen. Estrogen is cancer driven. Your cancer is actually, the crazy part is we didn't even know that this new cancer, because they assume it's the same type of cancer.
That's right.
But there is a chance that metastatic cancer can change the genetic.
Or that I had breast cancer and this was a different type of cancer.
Right.
That's a possibility.
So we didn't have any of that information.
Yeah.
They just go, it's very likely that it's the same cancer. So if it is estrogen driven, which we don't know yet, removing your ovaries will prevent you from going on a tamoxifen for the rest of your life.
I had totally forgotten that.
It was a very risky play.
I just went for it. So I sat with myself and everyone left the room and I said, I'm removing my ovaries. I just felt.
I don't fully think I understood what that meant back then.
Yeah. the reason I had such comfort in it is because we have 5 frozen embryos. But of course, that would stop me producing eggs. So there's no more naturally conceiving a baby.
And put you into menopause.
And put me into menopause. Yeah. So that's been a journey for me because I'm in menopause at 33 years old. I have hot flashes, and honestly, I don't even want to put out there the other symptoms I think I have because I'm working through them and they will no longer be an issue.
That's right.
But
that's a big decision.
It was.
Way bigger than like you have 5 minutes to decide.
Yeah, but I had 5 minutes to decide. So the week leading up to Frankie's birth was insane. The 24 hours leading up to it was wild. And then we decided we're going to make a playlist. We're going to make this the best C-section being put under birth anyone's ever seen.
So yeah, it's basically I couldn't be there. Carrie couldn't be there. So we just changed the whole vision.
Yeah.
And we decided that, first of all, Anne Burndall, let's give a huge shout out to her. She's a
best.
high risk OB at Sunnybrook. Just an amazing light and energy.
I can honestly cry thinking of her.
She's so sweet.
So beautiful.
Yeah. She suggested, or someone suggested, that we could play music and have a playlist that our friends and family could listen to, Carrie and I could listen to, and then we'll give Bec a speaker on her bed and everyone hits play at the same time.
Yeah. And the song I fell asleep to was With Me All Along. Is that what it's called? With Me All Along?
Yeah.
Or Come With Me Now?
I think With Me All Along. It's beauty.
It's so beautiful. And now that I think of it, I really feel Frankie's been with me all along. Like Frankie and I, it was just the most magical song to fall asleep to. I fell asleep bawling my eyes out.
Just to back it up again a little bit.
Poor Anne was like holding my hand and I'm just sobbing. She's like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And I was sobbing on that table.
Can I tell this part?
Yes.
So we're coming up with a playlist and we're throwing songs in there and we've got a group chat with all of our closest people. And we're saying, hey guys, this is a playlist, throw appropriate songs in there. So everyone's kind of contributing. And the playlist is kind of done. Okay. We're like a 2-minute countdown and Bec comes out of the washroom and she goes, hey, add Yellow by Coldplay. And I was like, all right, cool.
Which we hadn't listened to in so long.
Super random how that came in. Anyway, I throw it in and I'm like kind of rearranging the playlist just based on what I think the vibe is. So I just throw it in randomly. We hit play. Bec's going down the hall. I'm sitting on the bed with Carrie and I finally just fully break down. Like I think I've been storing this amount of emotion, over the past week. And I just start sobbing like uncontrollably, like choking, and Carrie's consoling me and everything. And, a few minutes go by and then doesn't the song Yellow come on? And I feel a full body warmth, like a warmth I've never experienced before, like the sun hitting you. And I stop crying and I breathe and I look up at the clock and I go, whoa, Carrie, is there any way it's possible that Frankie could be born right now? And she goes, take a picture of the clock. And I take a photo and it was 2:22 in the afternoon. And we checked
We cross-reference with the
video and the birth. And yeah, because also Anne had her assistant film it. So we have like the full, I don't know if you've ever seen a birth video. I don't think you want to put this out.
No.
But it is, you could probably YouTube a birth, a C-section.
C-section.
Damn, dude, they go in there and pull the kid out, like yank it from the head. So anyway, it lines up, it's 2:22. And
Frankie was born at 2:22.
she was born
you kind of didn't.
Yeah. She was born to the song Yellow.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you look up what 222 means, it's an angel number.
Yeah.
You can't make this shit up. Like, it was just such an unbelievable.
She was supposed to be born at 11 a.m. I was booked for surgery at 11 a.m. and I just kept getting moved back during the day because it wasn't emergency. I was sort of like one of the booked ones. And then obviously if someone's in labor and it's like, you need it now, they push you back and back and back. So 222 is just such a beautiful.
And the song Yellow, I never really listened to the lyrics, but it's like your skin and bones.
Look at the stars. Look how
stars.
they shine for you.
Yeah. Your skin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, your skin and bones.
Come on.
Turning to something beautiful. Like, what a beautiful song.
It's so beautiful. And then Frankie was born.
Yeah.
Frankie was rushed to the NICU, so they had a whole team of nurses. And she was put on oxygen, and a feeding tube was in her nose.
I think it was in her mouth first.
Oh, really?
I think it was in her mouth, then her nose.
Okay. Yeah.
And then she was jaundiced, so she went under the lights. It was a lot to unpack. Like, it was. Obviously, we're just so grateful that she's there with 10 fingers and 10 toes, but she needed some extra love. So
only very briefly, though. She was
a fighter.
Amazing.
She started latching on that bottle right away.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sunnybrook hooking us up with donor milk, so she was able to get some breast milk.
Yeah.
And she stayed 15 days in the NICU.
Yeah. I want you to take me through meeting Frankie for the first time, seeing her for the first time. Like, what did that feel like?
Yeah, I remember when the nurse came into the room, and I'm sitting with Carrie, and she's like, okay, everything went well. And I don't know what I was picturing. I think I was just like, okay, great. Like, is she coming to me? And like, what's the plan here? Like, I thought I was going to see you maybe.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you want to meet her? And I don't really think I fully comprehended, like, whoa, like, I'm going solo to meet my daughter.
Yeah.
And walking down that hall, I had the freaking music playing still.
Carrie says you literally, like, she said, do you want to meet her? You don't even remember. But you were out of the chair before she could finish the sentence. You were, like, running.
Yeah, I wish I pressed pause, because the video I have, you can't hear any of the stuff because the music's going.
Oh, wow. You weren't thinking.
There were, like, 15 nurses, full, surgery gear. Everyone's all surgeried up.
Yeah.
And she is just the most beautiful. Like, she's obviously, like, covered in, like, body fluid and everything, but she was so beautiful. She had the little hat on, big lips, and she was here.
Yeah.
And I remember leaning over the table and just holding her hand. I didn't know if I was supposed to, like, it's my kid. Of course, I can do whatever I want, but, like, I didn't feel like. Mm-hmm. And then within a few minutes, they bring you down to your room. We were able to do skin on skin.
That quickly?
Yeah, maybe like 10, 20 minutes.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
It's no wonder Frankie's so bonded with you. I was still having my ovaries removed at the time, so I was not there at the moment you met her. And because I'd been put under, it just took me a lot longer to come to. But I will just thank Carrie again, because she had arranged for me to be able to wake up not where most women wake up, which is just like the sterile room next to a bunch of women with like the curtains kind of. She brought me back to my room, and my parents were there, and I woke up to everyone had their hands. It's just like so beautiful. Like, my dad was there, and he had his hands on one of my legs, and my mom on the other leg, and my sister was holding my feet, and Carrie had her hands on my shoulders when I woke up. So I couldn't be with Frankie, but I was surrounded by love. It was so beautiful. Thank you, Carrie.
I remember she sent me that video because I was worried about you. They said, oh, she's just taking a little bit longer to wake up. Then Carrie sent me that video, and I was like, oh, wow, that's special.
So special. That photo of everyone's hands on me is so powerful. Yeah.
What was it like when you finally, like, you weren't able to see her for a couple hours?
I'm, like, really careful of what I say, because I want Frankie to know how loved she is and how much I love her.
She knows.
But my experience was that I saw a photo of her before I ever met her, because I wasn't able to get out of the bed yet, and obviously I wanted to see her. But that was just so hard for me to not have that moment I wanted so deeply, of, like, not even seeing her but feeling her first, and, like, having our hearts sort of beating together on my chest. And I was so looking forward to, how the baby, like, navigates its way down to the boob, and it's just like all those moments I didn't have the opportunity to have with her. But when I finally met her, I remember you wheeled me down, and Lexi was the nurse there. I loved her so much. And I started crying before I even got in the room. And she's like, I've never seen a more emotional mom. And maybe because moms are awake when they've already had that moment. But that was my moment. And Lexi saying, like, what a beautiful moment it was. And I was holding her, and I looked down, And I had had a dream when I was pregnant, and I saw that moment. I saw her. I knew her before that moment. And I'll never forget holding her. And it was like this sort of deja vu. Like, I've had this moment before. And Frankie, like, she was a newborn, a premature newborn who never opens her eyes. And her eyes were open, and she was staring right at me, and I was staring right into her soul. And we just had this moment. And Lexi was like, whoa, what just happened? Like, you could feel that we had just had this moment. And so I know we're so wonderfully connected, and we've had that bond since the beginning too. It was just a few hours later than I would have loved. But yeah, it was still so, so, so special. And she's such a beautiful little baby. I just couldn't get over it.
She knows mama.
I know.
It's very clear that she is absolutely erupting like a volcano. I could pass her to you, and then she has that.
I think someone told me just recently, women get BO in postpartum. Like, I didn't really ever have BO, and I have BO now. Apparently, it's a way for their baby to know that it's you. Like, that's their pheromone. That specific BO is the concoction of smells for Frankie and me.
I had a moment last night where we co-sleep, so she sleeps with me in the king bed, and she's really rolling around a lot, and she's in a bit of a regression because she used to, like, she still wakes up a few times to feed, but she was up from like 11 till freaking 12:30. And so I'm just ignoring her. I'm like back to her. She's like, nah, spitting her binky out. And I'm just trying to sleep. I was so tired. And she keeps rolling into me and like kind of just touching me and stuff like that. Finally, I turn around and I just like hold her and like start rubbing her back, and she just becomes quiet. And it was just such a moment of like, oh, wow, you just wanted some love.
Yeah.
And of course, I've tried that before and it didn't work, but that was the moment last night.
All she really needs is love. Like, she needs those basic necessities, but she is just looking to be nurtured and loved, and so special. That was really big. And I was really fearful to share the birth story because of all of the emotions of it. But I feel really proud of us for how we navigated it and where we're at now with it. And also, I feel this urgency to share for others. I just know that birth isn't always what people dream of. And I'm sure there's such a spectrum of what might happen for you on your journey or someone on their journey. And I just want to let them know that they're not alone, because it can feel like you're so alone. Like, I don't know anyone else who had to have a C-section and go to sleep and not meet their baby for hours. And I would love to connect with someone who's had that experience.
Let alone having the fear of a stage 4 diagnosis.
Yeah.
Like,
it was heavy. It was big.
I don't think it gets heavier.
Yeah. And then I just want to be that vision of hope for someone's future if they're on a similar path. Hopefully no one's on a similar path and they're just going through their own thing. But even going through your own thing, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. All of you.
I'm here for all the papas too.
Yeah. And I think you're such an amazing role model for dads. And I do believe that you sharing your story is super important, and you saying exactly how you feel is super important and valid as well. So I never want to like actually make you change. I just wanted you to know why maybe I react in this scenario.
Well, I think it's a really valid point of like, if I keep saying how horrible it is, you're actually manifesting how horrible it is, right? If I just meet it with more love and
excuse you
blessings. No, it's, dude, like all this knowledge you keep spitting, it's not just going through my head. It's sticking with me.
I know.
It's so true. You wake up, you say, I'm going to have a great day. Your day is going to be great.
Yeah. Today I woke up and I said, today is a day of joy. My body wants to feel joy. The more joy I feel today, the more healed my body will feel. Like, it's going to all listen. And if I just feel so happy in all these moments, I'm going to feel joy. And then I'm reading a book I read to Frankie all the time, like every day. And instead of cards, we ask for books and for everyone to write their little message in the book.
Which I highly recommend doing. That's so much more fun.
Oh, like, because cards go away. But books, you need books. I've read the same book 1,000 times now. I'm like, oh, I could use a couple more books. I flip it over and there's this smudged note from your aunt.
Yeah, don't write on the back of the book. Write on a fold, and that's a good hack as well.
Yeah, and with like a Sharpie or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, she wrote, "May you have many days of joy. Love, Lori." And I just thought, I've read this book so many times. My morning meditation out of nowhere was all about joy. And then I read it today. May you have many days of joy. So I'm having a joyful day today.
Let's go. Bring on the joy.
It's amazing. If you just stop, you're listening to this, you're driving, just try it on, just as an exercise for yourself today. Think like, how can I feel more joy in this moment? Your kid is screaming. You're stressed about this meeting you're having. It's sort of like that gratitude practice, but for me today, it's joy. And how can I just get a little more joy? So Frankie was screaming, and I just thought, I dreamt of this moment. This is actually so joyful that I can nurture my baby and that she does know it's me. I know she knows it's me, that she's so comfortable with me. This is joy. And you meet it completely different. The day is completely different.
It can be hard sometimes.
Of course.
Sometimes I'm in a mood and you explain to me, you're choosing to be in this mood.
Yeah, you are.
You could change your energy. And in that moment, I want to punch you in the face.
Of course you do.
Because it's like, screw you, I'm pissed.
But you can't hear anything
But
that's not anger.
It's so true. Sometimes you actually even have to like fake a smile.
Yes.
Like just kind of sit with yourself and then eventually you might actually make yourself laugh.
Yeah. As you can imagine, I could live every day in fear and like, oh, this might be the last day for me. You know what I mean?
And it still creeps in.
It does still creep in, but I'm so conscious of it, and I just remove myself from it, or I just do what I said about joy, and I just think, okay, you're choosing to feel this right now. You can choose anything. You can feel love over this fear. And that's what I'm actively working on. Don't know how we got here, but yeah.
So how the hell do people parent multiple kids?
Oof.
Like, oof.
Yeah.
Like you'd let them scream. They'd have to just scream.
You'd have to have a more balanced approach to it. I was just saying earlier that I'm 110% with my parenting. I'm just super present with Frankie. Like,
anything
Frankie
she needs.
first.
Oh, let's stop the screaming. Oh, do you need this? Oh, do you need this?
Yeah, and I imagine that when you have more kids, you just don't have the capacity to do that. So
that's kind of why like I do my parenting style at night of kind of just ignoring her, because I think we need a little balance there.
I don't even like knowing that you ignore her.
Not ignoring, but she's had a diaper change. She's been fed.
Yeah, yeah.
Now she's just playing
Yeah,
and screaming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so I'm going to bed, Frank.
Yeah, well, thank you for your service to
Hey, you're welcome.
the parenting we're doing.
It's all 50-50.
Yeah, it is all 50-50.
That was a really weird handshake.
Well, I didn't want to like move the
Here, let me
mic too
just
much.
grab
Yeah.
that for you. There you go.
I really do love parenting with you, though.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, welcome back to the segment we call Real Talk. Our tea business habit is all about human connection. So each package comes out with a conversation card. It's sort of bringing back actual tea time, whether that means FaceTiming someone or having that time with yourself. And we're in development of a Real Talk question, 100 questions for meaningful conversation prompts game.
Which you can get soon, very soon.
Yeah.
I don't like saying soon, but we honestly don't know when it's coming out.
Can I do one for you first?
You want to pick?
Yeah. What has been the funniest thing that has happened to you this week?
Hands down. Usually it takes me a minute to think of these things.
Yeah.
Frickin' last night? 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, we get invited to the Angus and Julia Stone concert from Adam. Is Adam their manager or like stage manager?
He's their manager.
He's a beauty. And so we're like, heck yeah, let's do this. And we had one extra ticket. So we jump in the Uber. We're heading down there. And we just meet this electric dude named V North.
He's the Uber driver.
Yeah. Yeah, to be clear, he's driving his Mazda 3. He starts talking about his vision board, and he's got it saved on the back of his phone, and he journals at home. And this is like all the things we're trying to do with habit.
He was actually already saying, like, when I get home tonight in my gratitude journal, I'm going to write this ride on Uber. Like, I'm just so grateful I picked you up.
Yeah.
He was
So we're like, V North, like, you need to come to the concert with us. We have an extra ticket. And he's like, oh, no, I got to work my shift. We're like, bro, we'll pay you for your shift. You're coming to the show. He's like, I can't. Oh, all right, yeah, let's go. Let's go. And he's fired up. And so we park the car, we get in there, and we have the most amazing concert. The show was phenomenal. Those guys are so talented.
Unbelievable show. I just want to interject that I had asked him what kind of music he likes, and he likes like pop, and Chris Brown was his response.
Yeah, Drake.
These guys are like chill indie folk. You sit down. It's a very different vibe than V North was looking to go to a concert for.
Yeah, I don't think he actually liked the music, but he liked the energy.
Yeah, he liked the energy.
Anyway, then after the show, we meet Adam, and he brings us up on stage, and I mean, there's a whole, how long is the story going to be?
Go on.
Adam starts telling us about the set that he designed for the show, and that he had to run around all the thrift stores to get all these cool, like, old suitcases and stuff. And we're like, bro, like, we're building a podcast set. Like, we need some stuff like that. And he's like, well, if you come down to New York, you can have it. And we're like, great, you can get us tickets. So then we're thinking V North we're going to make a YouTube video about V North driving us down to New York City for the show tomorrow.
And he just kept being like, yeah. And then he looks at me and he's like,
but not tomorrow, right?
Yeah, he's like, I'm hanging out with my parents tomorrow. I can't go tomorrow.
But I'm down. Like, let's do this another time. And I was like, V North, the show is tomorrow. Like, this is like, it's not like something we can rearrange. It's happening tomorrow. And what I love about him is anyone else would have just canceled their plans, I think.
Yeah.
And jumped on it. But he's such a, like, he's committed. Like, I don't know if he's got it family first. He said kept saying he's triple booked. But Adam worked it out. We're actually going to get some of the stuff on the set. Anyway, long story long.
The best part is
he drives us home, of course, because we were just going to order another Uber. And he comes and jumps in the plunge with us at like 10:30 at night. No.
Midnight.
Yeah, midnight. He jumps in the plunge. He's never done a plunge before. He's dying. We got to pull up the clips because he is such an electric personality. I think we should do another video with him at some point.
He was so much fun. Like, Adam and I were, my brother Adam.
Should I call him right now?
Sure, if you want.
I think I got it.
Okay.
Keep talking.
My brother Adam was there, and he was in the back of the car with me, and we just couldn't stop filming the two of you because you'd be like, you want to dance? And he'd be like turning up the music. He's like, my only question is, what color do you want the party lights? And he's got like party lights at the base of the car, and he's like, Eamon, how about the sunroof? And he lifts the sunroof up, and you're like out the sunroof, and it was just the most fun I've ever had. I couldn't stop laughing. The video that we need to pull up is him in the backyard with you, and you're like, come on, V North, and you're jumping, and he's just jumping next to you like, woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. Like, just what a night this kid has had. He picks us up in an Uber, ends up at a concert, comes for a cold plunge, is maybe going to New York tomorrow. It was just so funny.
I love this kid.
Hey, man, what's going on?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. We're just recording a podcast episode. We're talking about the other night with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, you're on.
I forgot.
No way.
We
That's
went live
awesome.
on his
You mean
Instagram.
live on the phone?
Well, you're just on audio right now, but we're recording. But I just wanted to say what up and once again say how great it was to meet you, dude. That was like
so
such a
fun.
fun night.
Yeah, man. Likewise, man. Like, I actually had like a wonderful time, man, with you, and I really appreciate the surprise.
Yeah, dude. We'll have to meet up again for sure.
Yeah, we definitely, man. Definitely. And also, I just want to say that the fact when I got your call, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's Eamon, and you caught me at the perfect time at work because I'm just on my lunch break right now.
There you go, buddy. It's the divine.
I was like, okay, it's Eamon. It's like, oh my gosh, it's Eamon. I have to pick this up.
V North, your spirit and
What's
your...
going on? What are you saying?
Hey, I just wanted to compliment you because your spirit, energy, and gratitude for everything in life is absolutely inspiring.
And thank you very much for the inspiring words and the kind words.
You're just the best. I look forward to our next hangout, maybe driving to New York, maybe flying you to a country of your choice. You just never know.
Maybe we go to Sri Lanka together.
Oh,
That's a great idea.
Yeah. All right, dude. I'll chat with you later. We're going to get back to the show here.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Peace out, V North.
Trips you want to plan in the summer, I'm down.
100%.
sounds great, V North. See you soon.
Thank you guys for the call.
Love you, bro.
All right, love you guys too.
Peace.
He got choked
What a
up.
legend.
He is such a lesson in gratitude. Like him saying, like, thank you for calling me now, bro. Because if it was like,
Yeah.
he's just finding gratitude for the littlest things.
But he's also like so true to his morals.
Yeah.
I think that's so unique in a young person.
Yeah.
Love that.
I love him.
I mean, I hate that because like that would have been an amazing night.
Yeah.
Driving to New York together.
The banter between the two of you too is so funny. The video has to happen whenever it happens, and you can explain the story another time. Okay, my real talk.
Okay. That was a long one.
That was so just spontaneous, and everyone I've told that story to is like, that is the most Eamon story of all time. You guys think you know Eamon because he's on social media, and of course you do know him. He is even more electric and funny and spontaneous in real life. You really are.
Thanks, baby.
You really are.
Okay. Can good parenting be learnt, or is it innate?
It can definitely be learned. 100%. I think we all have innate qualities about us, and they kick into overdrive when you have your own child. So if you're feeling like, I'm just not that motherly, or my maternal instinct isn't strong, it's because it's someone else's kid. Like, that's fine. I think it really kicks in when it's your own kid, and you hear that scream at the frequency that the divine created just for the two of you. Because when I hear her scream, it's like, I know it's her. I know what she needs. So there's something that's innate for sure, but I actively choose to show up as a parent every day through the work I do. Like, I am more present, and I think that's a big part of being a great parent, or at least in my eyes. And that's something that I'm learning how to do, and relearning, and like, you know, reminding myself of all the time. So I think it's both things.
I also, what popped into my head was, it's crazy how, you know, we're listening to some study the other day where they're talking about 75% of your thoughts are programmed from when you're a kid. Mm-hmm. And I think even up to the age of 7. And I think no matter how much you try and change, you're still so impacted by your parents.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's you know, Adam always jokes, like, you know, how cringe your dad joke lines are, but now he recycles the same stuff to his hockey team. Totally. Like, little example like that, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's harder to break those patterns, you know, if your parents weren't good people, or if they have, I mean, every single parent has things they could
Trauma.
do better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think ultimately you can become a better parent than
every single day. You can wake up and be a better version of yourself, which would make you a better parent.
Yeah.
Good question.
Okay, so we've had a few people ask questions. I mean, if you want to be featured on a future episode, you can send a 30-second video of your question to reroot@eamonandbec.com. But yeah, these ones have come through. So first question, did Bec have any weird cravings while pregnant with Frankie?
Oh.
Did you say Beth?
Bec.
It sounded like Beth.
My accent.
Honestly, I don't even introduce myself as Bec because people hear Beth all the time, and I am not a Beth.
No.
Yeah.
You're also not a Becky.
I'm not a Becky either. Pregnancy cravings.
Don't
yes.
Becky me.
Yeah.
Dr. K.
Yeah. It's okay. He was loud.
Yeah.
My weird pregnancy cravings were salt and vinegar chips. Like, I needed them first thing in the morning when I woke up. So that makes no sense. What?
You know, tell them about the time it was like 7:30 at night at the cabin, and I had to drive an hour to go get you chips.
Oh, I was going to tell them even more magical story of the really early morning time. And I said, baby, I am craving it, something fierce. Like, if you've been pregnant, you understand that there's actually nothing else in the world that will satisfy the craving you're having. So it has to be the specific thing you're craving. And you went ahead, we didn't have them, and you sliced potatoes really thinly. You air fried them. You got vinegar, salt. You made me salt and vinegar chips at like 9 a.m. one day.
Yeah, the first batch was really dialed. I took my time with how thin they were.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I need another batch. So I made another batch, and they weren't as thin.
Yeah.
And you were like, these ones are not as good.
I can't even have them. This is making me crave salt and vinegar chips. What else? Oh, and I loved cereal.
Pickles.
Pickles. So I really like vinegar and salt.
Crunchy.
And then at a certain point, I became obsessed with cereal. Like, I wanted it
Fruit,
for dinner.
Ice water.
Oh, I loved watermelon.
Ice water was really new.
Yeah, because I like room temperature water.
Yeah.
And then I loved ice water. Yeah. Nothing super crazy. Like, some people want like a pickle on the ice cream.
You started eating some eggs as well, like some farm eggs.
Yeah. I don't think that was like necessarily a massive craving.
But it's like a pregnancy thing, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to like, that's like, I think, a whole other episode.
Well, I'll just throw a little nugget in there.
Okay.
Vegans.
All right, next one. What was the first thought that went through your mind when you saw Frankie for the first time?
I feel like we kind of touched
that.
on this, but first thought I had was, I can't believe how cute she is, honestly.
Look at those lips.
Yeah, her lips were ridiculous.
Did someone put Botox in her lips?
What's the funniest thing that's happened since becoming new parents?
The funniest thing that's happened. I mean, my brain went to just that night we were at the concert with V North.
No.
Huh?
Oh, you're talking about
And we get home. It was the first time Bob was watching the kid. And then we had Bob watching Frankie, who we put down, but we knew she was going to wake up. And then Sarah was watching Bob to like make sure we had some extra control there. And they just had a beep, beep. They just had a night from like Frank, I think, knew we were gone and just absolutely tornadoed it up. And the funniest thing is when you take a baby that is losing their mind and sit them in front of Miss Rachel on YouTube, they immediately start giggling. I don't understand what it is about her voice or the way she talks, but it was really funny to come home and hear Bob recount just the chaos that it was.
Yeah. I found that way less funny because I feel bad that I left Frankie, but I just think there's been so many funny moments. The one that came to my mind was you and I were like passing in the night, and I said, when's the last time she ate? And you were telling me, and it was like 3 a.m. or something, and I'm in the kitchen with her. And I'm like, hi, baby. And she projectile. Like, I am talking, you probably stuffed 3 bottles worth of stuff in there. And she did not need 3 bottles. She just all over me. Like, my actual shirt was heavy. She was like a premature little baby. Heavy shirt. And it was all over the kitchen floor. And like, I just couldn't stop laughing. Like, it was just a funny moment. Yeah. You're so tired.
What do you even do? You can't put her down? Like, you just...
It was just, I don't even remember.
Wow.
Yeah. That's my funniest moment.
Next one. Describe Frankie in 3 words.
I would say she's funny, she's sweet, and she's curious.
I would say curious, feisty, loud.
I also think she's an old soul. I think she's been here before. She's just smart. Her eyes are...
We got to have a soul expert on.
Yeah.
I'm like fascinated by souls.
Love to have a soul expert on.
How did you choose Frankie's name?
That's such an interesting question, and one we get a lot. I have no idea.
Yeah, we tried like the apps. You can get apps that like you swipe for different names, and there were some cool options there.
So Frankie was always the name we liked, and I don't know where we got it from. And then we were trying everything to like not have it be the name, sort of. Like we just like were looking through everything, and is that really the name? And then ultimately
Sloan was the top
name.
contender.
Love that name.
Sloan, Frankie. What other ones?
I like Marlo. now.
Marlo.
Yeah.
Marlo's frozen. She's coming soon.
Sloan might be too.
So, yeah. Just a bunch of girls. We have 6 girls.
Oh, I love that.
What's your favorite thing about being a parent?
I was just saying to Nick before we started recording that this morning I was feeding Frankie outside and she kept getting distracted and she was like, it's windy. I don't know if you can hear that. And the leaves kept sort of rustling and she just wanted to watch them. I just love sort of seeing the world through her eyes. Like I can't actually see what she's seeing, but I'm trying to feed her and I'm not being frustrated, but just to stop in that moment and instead of eating, look around and see the leaves. She's just teaching me all day long. And I just love learning from her. It's my favorite thing.
Mine would probably be like, no matter what mood you're in or whatever, you walk into the room and she catches you and she rips a smile. Like that is, like she just loves you no matter what state you're in or what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest surprise about being a parent?
I think Eamon touched on that.
How much work it is.
It surprises me that every day I can love her more. I feel as though I thought day one, I've heard you meet your child and your heart cracks open and you've never felt love like that. And yes, I had a moment of, wow, she's my daughter and I love her. But for me, it's grown every day, which I was surprised by.
Yeah, I feel that.
And how could I wake up tomorrow and love her even more than I do today? Well, it's going to happen.
This is a good one. If you could guarantee one thing for Frankie's future, what would it be?
That she never ever questions how much we love her. And I feel like that's sort of this blanket thing. And I don't question that my parents love me, but it's like I want her to know I want her to know.
I love that answer.
And for that to be her baseline.
I think
moving through life.
I think that answer, yeah, all these other things are built into it. Confidence, stability, self-love, worthiness. So yeah, I'm going to steal Bec's answer as well.
Okay, what are you most excited to introduce Frankie to? I.e. music, books, movies, etc.
Music. We already do dance parties on the reg, like every morning. And she loves it, dude. She's kicking her legs and just smiles the whole time.
She loves dancing.
I cannot wait for her to start, like, you know?
What is that, twerking?
Yeah, like, you know when Neo would, like, get up on the thing or Posey?
Yeah,
just shaking her butt?
Yeah.
Just think that's the cutest thing in the world. Yeah, for my daughter to start twerking is the answer.
All right, another good one, but, like, I think I'm going to have to change it a little bit. Will you let Frankie get a tattoo when she's older? I'm going to change it to, what age will you let Frankie get a tattoo when she's older?
Nick already knows the answer. I grew up thinking tattoos were the absolute worst thing you could possibly do.
Devil, even?
Yeah. Like my parents, basically you were getting kicked out of the house if you get a tattoo. So for me, it's been an unlearning process.
Does the internet know you have a tattoo?
I don't know. This is a podcast exclusive. Bec has a tattoo. You'll have to zoom way in on that one.
Yeah.
Story to come, I think.
So wait, when would
episode.
you...
Okay, we've talked about it. And it's her body, it's her life. Like 1,000,000% she can get a tattoo. I do feel like she's got to at least be 16, maybe 18.
Yeah, I think 18.
I love that you said that. I was like trying to be cool and say 16.
I mean, I was 19, but I just think 16, you might do something. Like those 2 extra years are pretty pivotal.
Yeah, and you're so emotional at 16. Like if we're right about who we think she might be, I can see her being.
But I would kind of play it by ear. Like if there's something that's beautiful in her life that she really wanted, that's not like a tribal thing down her face, I would be like, you know what? You're 13. This sounds cool. Let's do it.
Do you still
Daddy will do it for you.
Do you still love your tattoo that you got when you're 19?
Yeah, for sure. It's my family crest, so it's like got a lot of meaning.
Yeah, you put effort into it.
Yeah.
All right, what's your go-to lullaby or bedtime story for Frankie?
We don't really do that.
I sing to her all the time.
Oh yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
So it's the Barney song, I love you, but I make it like opera because it makes me happy. So.
What? I haven't heard that.
So I don't just sing it like, I love you, you love me. I sing it like, hi. I'm not going to do it.
What? I've never heard this.
Are you serious?
No, not an opera version.
I sing it
Let's
like
hear it.
High frequency because I believe in frequency. So I believe that she needs something more than like, I love you, you love me. Like, that's like a little too upbeat. Like I want her to know she's loved and like I want to vibrate from within me.
You've made that clear. She knows.
Okay. I don't think I'm comfortable singing it on the podcast.
Yeah, you are. Close your eyes.
No, I can't.
No?
Because it doesn't sound good, but she loves it. I sing it opera. Not opera.
I still can't picture opera.
I think we need it.
It's not opera. It's like, I love you. Like, it's like that. Like, I just.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You love me.
Love me.
No, I try to like. Someone taught me about frequency and through music and stuff. And so it just came to me and I started doing it.
Mine is 8 ounce down the drain, passing out with milk pouring down her face. Then I leave her in that position. I sneak out the bottle, slip in the binks, keep her in there, and just wait. I literally count 10 minutes in my head because any time earlier she usually wakes up. You taught me that trick. I would usually try and move her right away.
Patience.
Wait 10 minutes.
I taught you patience.
And then her hand starts to go after like 3 minutes. You can feel the heaviness. Then you can literally do anything. You can just pick her up, put her down, and she's out. Unless she's not, right?
Milk drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your lullaby. And the book I've been reading lately to her, she loves like Wear Spot. And I used to love it as a kid. And now she's laughing when it's like a Lift
Really?
the
I haven't
Flap
seen
book.
that either.
Yes. You got to read to her more.
Wow.
so in each page, you're like looking for spots. So you like open the thing, and she giggles when you open the thing. Because I do voices too.
Nice.
So if there's a bear behind there and they say no, I go, no, when she laughs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm coming for bedtime tonight.
Yeah.
That's cute.
If you could give Frankie one piece of advice for the future, what would it be?
I think the same advice I gave on the last pod, and you kind of wrapped it up even better. I kind of was like kind of dancing around it, but it's like, don't care what other people think. I think it's the number one thing, because it stops so many people from changing their lives or being a different person or being the authentic person they want to be.
And I actually think that an important thing is it's okay to disappoint us too. If you're doing it from your heart and you're being authentically yourself, I know that I've always navigated the world in a way that is, I'm so afraid to disappoint my parents. And I just don't want her to carry that heaviness, you know? I'm sure my parents don't want me to carry it either. It's just something that I carry. And I want her to know, hey, if you really want to start that business, but I don't think it's a good idea or something, and you feel like you're disappointing me, know that I don't know how we'll navigate that, but like, I want her to know it's okay to disappoint me. I don't think that's the one piece of advice I'd give her, but
it's okay to not listen to me and disappoint me.
I'm talking more like mature, like later on in life. Today's episode was definitely heavy on the birth, pregnancy, IVF. And if you're interested in a full episode about parenting, where we're about 7 months into this journey, just let us know in the comments below on this video or leave a review requesting a parenting episode. And we'd be very happy to spit knowledge.
Or the Facebook group. If you're not a member of the Facebook group,
Reroot
with Eamon Bec on Facebook. Amazing community there. You can leave your questions there. And maybe people can upvote what questions they like, and then we can see which ones to do.
Yeah, please join that community, because it's a way for us to carry the conversations from this episode and future episodes and just like conversation in general.
People are also selling merch there, which is hilarious.
Oh, really?
They don't even sell merch anymore.
Like our old merch?
Yeah, like someone has a t-shirt for sale for $30. Highly recommend buying it. It's one of the on the road t-shirts. It's pretty dope.
That's epic. Speaking of, housekeeping, we'd love for you guys to take a minute and leave a review of Reroot. If you've enjoyed this episode, want to keep us doing these episodes, reviews are an amazing way to help encourage us and keep us going. We're on a mission to have the #1 most reviewed podcast in the world, which is going to be crazy because we're competing against Joe Rogan with 281,000 reviews, I believe, on Spotify.
We're getting there.
Our goal, what is it, Nick? 2,000?
3,000 overall.
Please just take a minute, leave a review. It means so much to us. And subscribe. Have we asked them to subscribe?
Yeah, click follow if you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you get your music. If you can follow the Reroot fam, that'd be great.
And here on YouTube, just hit subscribe. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so you get notified every time we release a new episode. I just want to take a second and thank you for being so vulnerable and open. I love this space because I learned today things about you that I didn't even know you were carrying. I hope you always know you can come to me with everything, but to share so openly, especially as a man, I know is really impactful. So kudos to you. You're amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, buddy.
And thanks for tuning into today's episode. We will see you in the next one.
Remember we used to kiss it out?
Delicious. I'll go. Delicious.
It's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Woo!